comparisons, because I feel like a lot of people are saying, okay, is this thing really worth $230 or 300 plus bucks on an eBay reseller scalper price? I mean, that's totally up to you. If you just want to play Game Boy games, I would just get the funny playing Game Boy Color, the FPGBC, which is what I have there on the left. Now I'm going to be doing a quick screen comparison to some other options. I mean, if you already have a Game Boy Advance or you have a Game Boy DMG and you already did like a IPS upgrade, because those things are all over AliExpress. If you just have Game Boy games, would you play this? I don't think so. And you can see I just did a quick size comparison to Game Boy Color and the DMG. I mean, just look how much bigger it is. I mean, it's way bigger when you compare the two side by side. And, what I was surprised to see is like the width of the pocket is pretty close to the width of the Game Boy Advance, and even the height is equal to the width. I guess that makes sense, because if the width is equal, then the height would be equal too. So I kind of feel like maybe Game Boy Advance experience would be similar on a Game Boy Advance. I mean, I don't know. If the width is the same width, I'd imagine the height would have to be the same on the pocket to kind of match the same resolution. Anyway, here I'm doing a side-by-side to the funny playing Game Boy Color, which, again, I would recommend over this if all you're doing is playing Game Boy games. And this thing is half the price, has the cool Game Boy Color form factor, looks great. The screen is not that much bigger. It feels bigger, though, for some reason when you're playing. Maybe it's just a higher pixel density. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm trying to go in to see the side-by-side of a similar game. But you can kind of see how much bigger the character looks on the right on the pocket. I mean, it is noticeably bigger. And maybe that much little extra, screen size is going to give you that much bigger feeling. Anyway, I don't know. But, totally up to you on if you think that's worth it considering the other options. So let's say you don't have a Game Boy Color and you have one of these Analogue emulators. Would you get an Analogue Pocket? And here I'm doing a showcase side by side to, so it's not an Analogue one, but a Miyoo Mini Plus. So this is the Plus version. And I'm just kind of doing a side by side comparison to what Super Mario would look like. And I mean, honestly, the Miyoo Mini is pretty nice. I mean, it has a bezel-less screen. The screen takes up almost the entire device. Would I get this? I don't know. I mean, if I didn't care about hardware level emulation, probably not. And here I'm comparing to a 3DS XL, which I love, just to kind of see like a different screen comparison. And you can see the 3DS looks pretty great. I mean, a lot of people say the 3DS needs to be updated and have its own modern screen, but I mean, it is the most modern device before the Switch. So, all things considering, it's pretty easy to get some legal ROMs on there, or, and I just don't see why you would get that if you already get an Analogue Pocket rather, if you already had something like that. I mean, I really think the Miyoo Mini looks pretty good. I mean, the one thing that kind of turned me off with the Pocket is, look how big the bezel is. The bezel is huge. And that Miyoo Mini is just way more pocketable, has no bezel, nice form factor. Then you have the 3DS XL, plays a bunch of 3DS games, very pocketable, clamshell, which a lot of people love. But, I mean, I don't know. I think the Miyoo Mini wins here for portability. I mean, if the purpose of the device is to be portable, and the fact that you can take it around, I think it wins. But if your goal is to do hardware level emulation and play ROM hacks that require low input and the FPGA latency, then maybe to get the Pocket.